Hi.
How you doing?
You tell me who is who, please?
Ronald Woods.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask both of you to please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Woods, this was your motion, and you have written here that there was failure to pay rent as well as other violations. It says dogs, kids, and under new ownership.
Correct.
Okay. What would you like to say, sir?
At this property, I was in an agreement with Mr. Woods to basically I'll be landlord there at the property. I also have a family, which was my fiance and 2 minor children that resided at the domicile. Over a 5.5 month period from October the 25th, 2023 until approximately 30 days ago. The agreement was for me to rent rooms out at the property, maintain trash at the property, rent rooms out to the male occupants. My fiance's position at the property was property manager to rent out rooms to the female occupants at the property. This is a multi-room, multi-level unit.
Okay.
And to maintain all common areas and clean areas and supply clean products to the cleaning area. At the point in time that the property did not have tenants in the property anymore to rent cash revenue for Mr. Woods, he came to the property and requested that the property be vacated and we leave the property for him to place an individual inside the property on Section 8 that he could draw cash rent from. We requested that I, as a disabled veteran, approach VA if he wanted cash rent from anyone at that time, since we've been at the domicile since October the 25th, 2023, and this was January 2024. He did not want to agree. In that agreement, I returned home to receive this on the door, which was his eviction notice.
Yeah, if you had it, yeah.
Upon that time, further communication was.
Give me 1 second to read it, okay? Is this what you put on his door, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir. This does not comply with the law.
It's not an eviction notice. It was the 7-day notice that
What's
they.
it say at the top?
Oh, no, I've got that at the 8 hardware. But it was.
That's the
7-day
wrong place to get your legal documents, sir. This case is dismissed. Keep this in case you need it, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So he stays in my house.
Until you do it right. Yep.
I went to the court and gave him the 7-day notice.
Sir, you need a lawyer if you want to do this.
Okay.
right, Okay?
Okay.
Larry Satterley versus Teresa Smallwood. I'm going to ask both of you to please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be nothing but the truth? Okay. So, Mr. Satterley, you bought the home and she was already a tenant in it, is that correct? Or
She owned it, but she didn't live in it at the time that I purchased it.
Okay,
So prior to me purchasing it, we had negotiated her getting her stuff out before
Okay.
before that. After I put it in my name, I give her another 30-day warning. She still hadn't got all her stuff out of it. Barely even attempted to get her things out. Kept making excuses after excuses. So finally I told her I was gonna file an eviction to make sure all her stuff's get out of there so I can start the renovation.
okay,
And here we are.
okay. When's the last time you lived in this property, ma'am?
Over 2 years.
Okay. So unfortunately for you, evictions is about who's living in the property. Yeah, he wants you to take your hands out of your pocket. You're making him nervous. Okay, sorry. That's just his job. I know you weren't threatening me, but he's nervous. So if she's not living in the property, you can't legally evict her. Now, with regard to the stuff, that's a totally different matter. Okay, so why haven't you got your stuff out?
Oh, can I,
No, answer my question.
okay. It wasn't way before that, and he gave me time to do it, but then he was always saying there's a lot of things in there that they were just throwing away of my things before this eviction. I never even got a notice saying that I had to go to court.
When did you close on the sale of the property?
December the 29th.
Why wasn't your stuff out before December 29th?
Because he kept telling me, oh, you can leave it in there. It's not my way or anything. And as long as it's not in there for 6 months.
Is it clear now that it's in the way?
I don't know, because he hasn't allowed me on the property and hasn't allowed me to retrieve any of my items that I've been begging for all of these months. And I have text messages to prove that. And he never allowed me on it. He barred me off of the property, and I didn't.
That's why you get your stuff out before you sell it to somebody else and somebody else takes possession.
He,
Will you allow her
tricked
this
me out of that
weekend to
house.
remove all of her property? And if it's not out by this Sunday evening, you can do with it as you want.
ma'am,
No.
If you give me a set day and time, absolutely.
Okay, Saturday and Sunday this week, which is the what, the 5th and 6th? No, 6th and 7th, and she's got to be done by 6 p.m. on the 7th.
That's fine with me.
Okay?
May I add
Uh-huh.
something to that?
Yeah.
He has already been throwing my items that I probably don't even have very many things in there that he has illegally removed from the
This court
premises.
doesn't deal with that, man. Okay? I'm trying to save some of your stuff. He legally could have probably already thrown it all in the dumpster. Okay? So I'm trying to get you some of your stuff back. If you don't want to take this opportunity, fine. He can, the 6 p.m. Sunday, he can have the biggest dumpster in the world and all your stuff in it. Take the opportunity, get what you want, and be done with this. Okay?
Can you ask him if he even
No,
has it?
I'm not asking him anything because I'm not your mediator. Goodbye.
Okay. Go!
Hand me my screen box. Now go. Freak. Rah.
Okay, let's go on the record in the matter of Southgate Apartments versus Mark Thompson, 2302608.
Good morning, Your Honor. Cheryl Wolkoff on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, good morning. And Mr. Thompson,
Good morning, Your Honor.
your name, please, for the record.
Mark Douglas Thompson Jr.
Okay, so I see that there is a there is a motion filed by Mr. Thompson. The motion was to set aside the conditional dismissal. Okay, and you filed your motion on March 15th. And the parties were here in court on, was this the
I
one from
believe
March
it's March
26th?
12th, Your Honor.
Parties appeared in person, conditional dismissal to enter. And so, Mr. Thompson, then you filed this motion. You wish to have this matter reinstated, you wish to have a hearing regarding the damages that have been caused due to failure by the plant's maintenance department, and due to failing to have licensed plumbers pull the proper permits, complete the work properly in the Michigan 2018 Michigan Plumbing Code, cleaning code with the proper inspections. Okay, sir, you, let me have you raise your right hand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you filed this motion, counsel, you received a copy of the motion?
Yes, Your Honor, from the court I did.
Okay, so Mr. Thompson, you're supposed, whatever you file with the court, you have to send over to the attorney as well. And so, Ms. Lockout, did you end up submitting an answer, a written response or anything, or no?
No, I'd like to respond on the record. Your Honor, the court may or may not recall, but we were, as you indicated, in person. My client and I spent quite a bit of time with this defendant discussing all of the issues very thoroughly. We then went on the record. The court very thoroughly explained to the defendant his rights. He agreed to this conditional dismissal. He has not filed a counterclaim when he's indicating he now wants to set aside for damages. Moreover, the basis to set aside a conditional dismissal or a consent judgment would be that they didn't understand their rights or they thought there was an error on the judgment or the conditional dismissal. He does not indicate either of those items in his motion, and he's paid not a penny, and we've gone well beyond the time frame of the conditional dismissal. And I don't believe there's a basis to set this aside. If he wants to file his own claim against the landlord for any damages, he can do so in a separate action. But at this juncture, I would request this motion is denied. I'd like an immediate judgment and order of eviction. We need the property back.
Okay, Mr. Thompson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you and Ms. Lockoff were both here in person.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you agreed to the terms of the conditional dismissal, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I asked you a number of times if you understood all of your rights. And
Yes,
you
sir.
stated you did.
Yes, Your Honor.
You also haven't stated that you had any issues, specifically regarding the terms that were placed in the conditional dismissal. You didn't allege that in your motion. And so I don't, Ms. Fluckoff is correct. There is a certain basis by which the, there's a standard by which this court has to look to as to whether or not something should be set aside. And what were the terms of the conditional dismissal?
Your Honor, we had waived quite a bit off the rent, and it was to either pay or move by the 22nd of March.
And what was the amount that had to be paid?
$5,800. The defendant has
Okay.
not paid rent, and I'm not sure how relevant that is, but since it looks like October.
Okay, and so Mr. Thompson, do you have the money set aside in a separate account?
Yes, Your Honor. And I just put April's rent into my escrow account. I have submitted since of last month. You have in my file that I gave to the court and to Ms. Luckoff. I do have the escrow account with $5,800 in there, and I just put $1,500 more in there. I did not get the email, the copy. I just got it this morning of the other amount of my rent that I just put in yesterday for rent. So I do have the money in my escrow account, but I need to email it to you guys. I'm sorry. I have the paper right here. I don't know if you could see it on picture. Well, it's on.
I cannot.
Your Honor, my
Correct,
client
yeah.
would not accept money at this point. We're past any of this. We just want our property back. We cannot keep going back and forth on this matter.
Okay, Your Honor. They have not
Okay.
done anything that they said they were gonna do, and the inspector of Wyandotte, Joe, has sent them email by email. They have not done anything. They resealed my ceiling with the water still leaking in the ceiling, and now the water, the brand new ceiling they put in has water damage everywhere in my brand new kitchen. They have not came back in 2 weeks to fix it, or even.
All right, sir, and I'm not discounting your claims of maintenance issues or damages. However, there's a certain procedure by which that has to be brought. You had agreed to a conditional dismissal that the amount would be paid or you'd move out by March 22nd.
Correct.
Okay,
But I wanted-
and you're stating that you have $1,500 in escrow account, but you haven't submitted proof of that to Ms. Luckoff. You haven't submitted proof of that to the court.
Yes, I have. I gave him.
When did you send that to Ms. Luckoff?
Your Honor, you have a file that I've submitted with the court, and I've submitted with Ms. Luckoff over a couple weeks ago. When we were at court last time, she had all the emails I have sent to her, over 28.
Your Honor, it's irrelevant. It is completely irrelevant. That this is a motion to set aside a conditional dismissal. He didn't comply with the terms. He hasn't provided a basis. It doesn't matter if he has money in escrow at this point. We want the property back, period. We don't want his money.
Your Honor,
Okay, but hold on, Mr. Thompson. Counsel, if there is a motion, if there is a conditional dismissal entered and there is money waived off the balance and there's still, and he is depositing the money in an escrow account and submitting proof of that to you, you're waiving that and you want him just to move out.
We want the property back. I'm not waiving anything. I'm not waiving anything here. This was an action for possession. Very clearly, you pay the $5,800. I don't believe I've received anything from him since court last time. You pay the $5,800 or you move. He hasn't done either. The escrow is before the judgment is entered or before a conditional dismissal, not after. So no, my client very well may go after this individual through collections, but at this juncture, because he didn't comply with the terms of the conditional dismissal and has not provided a proper basis to have it set aside, we are simply saying we want the property back.
Okay, I do show in here that I believe you may have had a copy of from the last time we were in court. There were statements on here regarding the amount that he had in a separate account for rents for November. And then,
Which he had until the 22nd to turn over to the landlord, and he didn't.
yes. So why didn't you turn that over to the landlord, Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, because they never came to my property or even brought to the matter of the black mold or anything that they've done in my house. They have used my property. They've used my actual towels to clean up their own messes. I've had pictures taken of it. Your Honor,
Okay, so just one moment, sir.
We
Hold on
got
just a moment.
this last time.
Just one moment. So, sir, why did you sign the conditional dismissal then? And does the conditional dismissal state anything regarding the repairs or the damages that were alleged?
well, Your Honor, you told me that I had 1 to 3 days
No,
to consider to reconsider that day in court on the conditional dismissal because I wasn't.
Wait, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. You said I said what about
You said I had
reconsidering
3 days.
conditional dismissal?
Said I had 3 days to set aside a motion if I did not agree with the conditional dismissal, which I didn't agree with anything that happened that day because that day was not good for me. I felt like I was pressured. I felt like I was pushed. I did not get to say what I wanted to say on that day. I had very bad anxiety. Miss Luckoff and Christina, I did not feel comfortable in that room with them. Everything that was said and put aside, I feel like I deserve that. I have rent taken off of my rent because of the 5 months that they did not fix my water or have my shower fixed and the black mold.
Okay, Mr. Jameson. Okay, just let me clarify a few things. All right. Per the court rule, there are 3 days that whereby there can be a request to have a judgment or an order set aside. Okay. There is a basis for that, such as you didn't understand that the document as submitted was improper. Okay. That isn't anything that's been alleged here. You're alleging that you want to set it aside because you want your damages addressed. First of all, if that was the case, there would have had to have been a counter complaint filed on the landlord tenant action. There was not. This does not preclude you from seeking those damages. I can't tell you how to do that, but there is another way, sir, that you can certainly seek those damages if that's what you're choosing to do. But this would not be the way to have that done.
Your Honor.
The conditional dismissal stated that $1,500 was to be paid by March 22nd or you were to move out. If that did not happen, plaintiff can apply for an immediate order for a judgment and eviction.
Correct.
Now, I also heard what you said, that you didn't feel as though you had an opportunity to state what you wanted to state. And that's because a hearing was not held. The two of you had reached a resolution prior to that. So because there was a resolution made, this court doesn't take any testimony because there's nothing to take testimony on at that point. And you also received your packet that indicated you had the right to have an attorney. And I also asked you that on the record that day, and you stated you were waiving your right to have any legal representation. If you felt, Mr. Thompson, that you needed to have legal representation, you certainly could have asked for that adjournment, or you could have contacted various resources that were provided in your packet as well prior to the hearing date. So for those reasons, the court has to deny the motion because it does not rise to the level of the court rule and or statute. And so therefore the court has to deny your motion, sir.
Your Honor, the whole reason why we're here is because I didn't pay rent because they didn't fix my house. They waited until we came to court to bring somebody in that was not licensed, which the inspector Wyandotte is aware of this and has sent them email after email. Your Honor, I'm just wondering, I just have a question. They haven't done anything in my house for the 6 months I've lived there. I'm trying to, that's the reason why I didn't pay my rent. and I put in an escrow.
Okay, sir.
I'm a good land.
All right, and I appreciate all of that. However, if you have additional issues, you need to contact an attorney to help you navigate those. I cannot help you navigate those. I'm not saying you do or you don't have a claim. I'm not saying that either way, but you're indicating that there are issues that you would like to have addressed, and the way those get addressed is not by motion to set aside a conditional dismissal that you stated you understood all of the terms, you understood all of your rights, and you were waiving those.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I know you've ruled. I'm gonna have to sign off. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The court's denying the motion. Thank you, and have a good day.
So, Your Honor, so what happens? I lose my house now and my family gets kicked out even though I have my money for rent?
Sir, I don't know how many times I can tell you, you need to contact an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice.
Can she tell you when you have to be out?
What, can you tell me when they're allowed to take my stuff out of my house? Is that?
Sir, you have to read the documents that you've received. If you have any questions regarding those documents, you need to speak to an attorney. You've been provided with a list of low income or free legal resources. I cannot give you legal advice, sir. And answering those questions is giving you legal advice.
I needed to know when I'm being evicted. That's why we're here. Now they're evicting me, so I needed to know what the day of the eviction is, Your Honor. I don't understand.
Sir, what I did is I denied the motion. I did not grant an immediate judgment, and I did not grant an immediate order of eviction. So when you receive any documents, you need to pay attention to those. I don't have any dates right off the top of my head because I don't have anything in front of me.
Okay, I'll get an attorney. I understand now. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, you're welcome.
I'm so
Off the record.
Thank you.
Okay. She didn't sign the judgment.
So we're going on the record in the matter of Giselle Garibaldi Terrazas, 23994. And counsel, your appearance, please.
Good morning, Honor. Christopher Shemke, appearing on behalf of my client, saying to the matter being heard via Zoom.
All right, Miss Garibaldi Terrazas, your name, please.
Giselle Garibaldi Terrazas.
Okay, and can you please adjust your camera so I can see your entire face? Thank you. All right, and so counsel, today's the date scheduled for a probation violation hearing. Your client is on probation for operating out visibly impaired by alcohol.
Yes, Your Honor, I had an opportunity to review the violations, Judge. At this point, she's not contesting a hearing. She will admit to the violations.
All right, and ma'am, you heard the plea that your attorney placed on the record, correct?
Correct.
All right, as to the allegation, you failed to appear to probation, you failed to appear drug testing 3 times, you tested positive for alcohol on January 22nd. How do you plead?
Guilty.
And the recommendation in this matter is to revoke probation, close the case without improvement, $50 probation violation fee, and 60 days jail. Do you understand that?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right, and knowing all that, you want to continue with your plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, counsel, if you can please pardon your client.
Yes, I'd like to direct your attention to your probationary term stemming out 2023. Did you fail to attend a scheduled probation visit on February 14, 2024?
I did.
A drug test taken on January 22nd of 2024, would you stipulate that it indicated the use of alcohol?
Yes.
And did you fail to submit on drug tests as ordered for the following days, January 31st, March 4th, and March 17th?
I did, yes. I don't usually
That's
get
fine,
drug
Ron. We'll get
tests.
to the explanation, but we just have to set the factual basis.
All right, and so the court does find the plea is knowing, voluntary, factually accurate. The court will accept your plea and indicate 3 technical violations, 3 through 7 will enter, and counsel asks for the recommendation.
Your Honor, as the recommendations, I would be respectfully requesting, I know although there was an indication that there was not recommendation for a review, I would ask for a review. Your Honor, my client is deeply apologetic for not being in full compliance, but indicates that If tested today, we believe that it would be a favorable circumstance. I believe that this is directly correlated with transportation and financial constraints, but she was sincere, contrite, and very polite during our interviews. I would ask for any sort of leniency or potential sidestep of incarceration at this time. She may or may not want to address the court. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Do you want to address the court, ma'am?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What would you like the court to know?
I don't usually get drug tested on Sundays, so and those are usually my days off. So I did overslept a little bit, and I tried going in the afternoon, but they were closed.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, but hold on. That's one time.
Yeah,
You're
and then
saying that you didn't appear for drug testing 3 times.
yeah, because I still don't have my phone updated. It's still like under my dad's phone number, and I did try changing it. They supposedly had changed it, but I guess they never did.
I don't know what that means.
It's because I was phoneless for a little bit, so I had changed my number to my dad's phone number, so he could be the one getting the drug tested messages, and I guess he just forgot to send them to me as well.
Well, ma'am, that's not a valid excuse, and I'd ask you please to put your full face in front of the camera. And, okay, what about failing to appear for probation appointment?
I never got a message for that. I've been trying to text Natalie, but she hasn't been answering me.
And when did you text Natalie?
I texted her in February, then in March, and she hasn't been texting me ever since she went to her
Hold on, ma'am,
vacation.
she doesn't text. It's still be email. She doesn't text.
It was through email, yeah, my bad. I was supposed to have a Zoom meeting with her, a check-in meeting, and she never joined the meeting.
Right, ma'am, she was out, and so people were checking her emails and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it was like in January or February when I was supposed to do the probation check-in, and she never joined.
Okay, and what about your positive alcohol test, January 22nd?
Yeah, I did drink, and I also took like a couple cold medicines.
Okay, and why were you drinking, ma'am?
I was just really going through it.
Okay, and that's not a valid reason to drink, ma'am. Ma'am, what is it you're looking at? Are you reading something? Are you on a phone? What is it you're looking at?
No, sorry.
All right, I'm gonna take a brief recess. I need to check on something. Just one moment. We're gonna go off the record.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we're back on the record in the matter of Giselle Garibaldi. 23994. Okay, Ms. Garibaldi. So I took what you said regarding the fact that you emailed in and you didn't receive anything back or anything of that nature in January or February, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now I'm looking at this information. And on January 8th, your appointment was removed from the calendar from January 17th, and it was rescheduled to February 14th. That is the matter, the one that you did not appear for. The only email that was sent to Ms. Shaw's email since November was on March 18th, ma'am. There is nothing else from your email since November. And then you're just you're reaching out to Natalie because you got a text message sent on Sunday, March 17th around 5 a.m. saying that you had to go drug test. But since you don't get drug tests on the weekends, especially Sundays, and those are usually your days off, you wanted to rest and you didn't see it until 11. And then any chance that you could be excused for that or reschedule another drug test. Ma'am, it's called random testing for a reason. Random testing is any day of the week. And it's your responsibility to pay attention as to when it is. You were sent a notice to appear for February 14th via mail, not even email. You never responded to that at all. So. You didn't appear for drug testing 3 times. You didn't appear for your probation appointment. You tested positive for alcohol. And you're on probation for operating or visibly impaired. And you were 0.19. You had this reduced from a high BAC, man. And so council, after the recommendation.
Your Honor, just any leniency is used when determining the appropriate admonishment. I do believe that my client is apologetic for her behavior, and at least in our dialogue, she indicated that she is eager to try to find an opportunity to demonstrate that her past behavior would not indicate how she would act if given another opportunity. Thank you, Judge.
Well, ma'am, here's the thing. You had a probation violation September 26th, at which point the court ordered mandatory jail for any future violations. You failed to submit to drug testing January 31st, March 4th, March 17th. Used alcohol for your drug test on January 22nd. Then attend your probation violation March 14th, and then you're trying to place the blame on everybody but yourself. And your violation that this court ordered indicated that you would use alcohol on another time. That's why that was your first violation. The court's going to revoke probation. The court's going to order 60 days jail. You are to report by, I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to ask if I'm not sure if she potentially has an outstanding balance or something that could be paid off or something of that nature. An outstanding issue could be solidified for consideration for an earlier termination of the probation and jail time.
I don't know. Ma'am, have you been making your payments?
I have not, no, because I stopped working due to my daughter. She had gotten really sick. But I was planning on paying this upcoming week.
Hold on, ma'am. When did you stop working?
I stopped working probably like a month ago because she had gotten like really, really sick.
Okay, and what was she sick with?
The flu, influenza.
And how old is your daughter?
3.
So how are you supporting yourself and your daughter?
My parents were kind of helping me out, and I had a little bit saved up, so I was supporting her with a little money I had saved.
All right, well, you have to communicate with your dad so he can help take care of your daughter.
Yeah.
When's the last time you made a payment, ma'am?
I think 3 months ago.
Did you communicate any of that with probation at all? As to the fact that you were no longer working or anything else?
What was it?
Did you communicate with probation at all the fact that you weren't working?
No.
Okay, well, that was another requirement of probation that you didn't comply with either. And you also didn't comply with your payment plan. The court's going to order 60 days jail. You are to report. I'll give you until Friday to report, April 5th. Please email Linda Michelle so she can give you that information. What's that, ma'am?
Okay, no, I was just repeating April 5th. Is there a certain time I have to report myself?
You're going to get the information from Michelle.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke. He needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're going to start bringing people in person. He's going to learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it?
No.
Okay.
I have no fear for that. And trust me, out of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.